Hello CFA candidates. Let's just make sure we're on the right track for the May 2023 exam. So this is what we need to focus in on right now. The main priority continues to be to review your LOS notes for a chapter and then attempt the high priority questions assigned for that chapter. So let's just pick a chapter at random. Let's just pick chapter 1.1. This is for level 1. And this is my guide, but hopefully you've made your own set of notes. Now, if you don't have your own set of summary notes, at this point you can just use the guide. So what I would do for chapter 1.1 is, let's see, this one is 9 pages, this guide. I would spend about 15 minutes just going through everything, just quickly having a look at all the components, all the frameworks, all the formulas, if you will. And after about 15 minutes or 20 minutes, just going through everything. And then what I would do is I would go to the questions that are assigned for chapter 1.1. So here it is. This is the practice question list. And so these would be the high priority questions for that chapter. So these are the ones that I want to attempt. Now, you can notice that some of these questions are highlighted in red. And that just means that I've posted my own set of solutions for these. I use a more ground-up approach rather than all the formulas that are found in the CFA curriculum. And just let me quickly show you where you can find that. So once again, I'm just using the Level 1 online portal as an illustration. So if you go to Chapter 1.1, and at the bottom link there, you see where it says Practice Questions. So if you click that, you'll notice the same set of questions are assigned here. So the same questions you saw in that practice question list are included in this link. And then you could see that I've posted my own set of solutions for them. So basically that's what it comes down to. So on a chapter by chapter basis, once again, first review your notes. So just quickly have a look at your notes, like look at all the formulas, the frameworks, etc. And then you go and have a look at the practice questions that I have assigned for those chapters. Now, one thing to keep in mind as you're going through this process is you never, ever, ever get stuck. So as soon as you get stuck on a question, and I'm talking after about 20 seconds or 30 seconds of struggling, that's your cue that it's time to go to the solution. So again, I've posted my own set of solutions there. So just go and have a look and see how I approached it. And the other thing you may want to do, ladies and gentlemen, is every time a question gives you a hard time, maybe you could just flag it. So maybe circle it, and this way you'll know exactly which questions you want to revisit. So if you got 95% of all the questions correct for a chapter, then there's no need to redo all the chapter questions. Instead, you just want to come back and have a second look at the questions that give you difficulty. Even the questions that you get correct. But if it still gave you a hard time, it's still worth revisiting, because it's not enough that you got it correct. You have to get it correct within a limited period of time. So maybe that second attempt at it, you'll still get the same answer, but maybe you could do it quicker. Now, sort of tied into this never get stuck rule, our objective right now is to focus on breadth, not depth. And I'll show you what the difference is. With depth, I would probably spend a whole day just doing these questions, because the thought process is that I have to master each question. But when you're sort of doing a deep dive on each chapter, it's just going to take you way too long to get through everything. But what breadth says is just keep the pace going. If you're stuck, just flag the question and just keep moving. And this way you'll be able to attempt a lot more questions during a training day. And that's really what you want to do right now. Our number one objective right now is to get through the entire list of questions. Even if you only got 50% of the questions correct on your own, perfect. The important thing is you've seen everything you need to see. So beyond that point, you're seeing things for the second or third time. So beyond that point, that's when you can focus on depth. And I got to tell you, ladies and gentlemen, when you have a look at a question a second time around after you've gone the whole list, you've got a fresh pair of eyes. You've seen some concepts through other practice questions that you've done that sort of jogged your memory. So when you come back to those difficult questions, it's going to be a lot easier to get through. So again, this is so important. I'll repeat it again. Never get stuck. If a question gives you a hard time, just guess it and move on. Yes, it's true. If you did spend half an hour, maybe you could get that question right. But you could have used that half an hour to do 10 other questions. And that's the mentality you got to think of. And I use the concept of return on time. How much return are you getting for every hour you invest in whatever activity it is you're doing? So coming back to our list here of important things, do not attempt any mocks until you're 2 to 3 weeks away from your exam date. A mock is all-encompassing and therefore should only be attempted closer to the end. And of course, I'll have more details about our CBT mock simulation, which is scheduled for May 6th at a later time. So again, you don't want to peak prematurely. And the other thing is, if you do a mock now, you're not ready. I mean, you know, we don't have that deep layer formed yet. So what we want to do is we want to have a solid foundation for all the curriculum practice questions. And then we want to see where we're at. And that's when we do the mock. Now, as you all know, I've been hosting study groups, and I got to tell you, these sessions are extremely productive. I mean, you know, we do these 9 to 5, so that's 8 hours. The 8 hours goes by like this. And that's because everyone is so deep into what they're doing. And of course, I'm there to provide some one-on-one assistance. So if you do live in the Toronto area, do make an effort to come out to these study group sessions that I'm hosting. I think everyone agrees. During those 8 hours, we cover more than we would probably in half a week. It's just that productive. Now, the details for this coming study session, again, it'll be held on Saturday, Toronto Reference Library, 9 to 5. But previously, I had base camp on the ground floor of the library. I am now going to move it up to the 3rd floor, and it'll be table adjacent to the stairs on the 3rd floor. This way you can identify me, no problemo. Now, if you do not live in Toronto, if you're outside the Toronto area, you're not going to be left out in the cold, not by a long shot. I strongly encourage you to email me any inquiries that you may have. I'll respond to your inquiries with the same vigor as I do with the candidates that attend these study group sessions. Ladies and gentlemen, now is not the time to reinvent the wheel, meaning that if you come across a situation that's sort of causing some doubt or anxiety, send me an email. I've probably seen this 100 times. I'll let you know what's worked and what hasn't worked, and then we can move on. So we really have to develop this efficient process in getting through everything we need to. Thank you, and that's all for now.